How's it going? How's it going? Hopefully, everyone had an awesome weekend. Things are about to get really interesting here in the coming months to a year from now. And I don't know how United States is going to handle this. I don't know if this is really politics, but I'm just going to leave it as politics. But woke up this morning, got to work, and noticed this story. This story is huge. It's a lot bigger than a lot of people think it is, but one of the backbones of the United States is shutting down. It's the third largest yellow trucking company. It's the third largest trucking company in the United States, and it's shutting down and headed for bankruptcy. And the Teamster unit says, "Here's what to know." Trucking company Yellow Corp has shut down operation and is headed to bankruptcy filing, according to the Teamsters Union and multiple media reports. After the years of financial struggles, reports of Yellow preparing for bankruptcy emerged last week as the Nashville, Tennessee-based truckers saw customers leave in large numbers. Yellow shut down operations on Sunday, according to the Wall Street Journal, following layoffs of hundreds of non-union employees on Friday. In an announcement early Monday, the Teamsters said that the union received legal notice confirming Yellow was ceasing operations and filing for bankruptcy. Today's news is unfortunate but not surprising. Yellow has historically proven that it cannot manage itself, despite billions of dollars in worker concessions and hundreds of millions in bailouts funding the federal government. Teamster General said to President Sean O'Brien in a statement, "This is a sad day for workers and the American freight industry." Well, when one door closes, that opens up an opportunity for another door, sometimes multiple doors, and this is a good opportunity if you're a truck driver. If you have if you own your truck, you may be able to get some runs in at a very high price dollar, be able to make some money. I don't know anything about that other than that's a business option that a lot of people do. The Associated Press reached out to Yellow for a comment on Monday. No bankruptcy filing has gone live as early this morning. The bankruptcy reports has renewed attention around Yellow's ongoing negotiation with unionized workers and $700 million pandemic-era loan from the government and other bills that the trucker has racked up over time. Yellow, formerly known as the YRC Worldwide, is one of the nation's largest less than truckload carriers. The company reported closure puts 30,000 jobs at risk. Well, it's a good opportunity to start up a new business. Hire some of those yellow truck drivers. Maybe be a station here in Texas where it's a right to work. Bypass the unions. Let's see here. What would bankruptcy mean for Yellow? According to Satish Jindal, president of transportation logistics firm SG Consulting, Yellow handled an average of 49,000 shipments per day in 2022. Last week, he estimates the number was down between 10,000 to 15,000 daily shipments, with customers leaving as well as reports of Yellow stopping freight pickups last week. Bankruptcy would be the end of Yellow, Jindal told the Associated Press, knowing that the increased risk of liquidation. Likelihood of them surviving and remain solvent diminishes really by the day, added Bruce Chang, a research director at an investment banking firm for Stifel. Yellow declined to comment when contacted by the AP on Friday. In the Wednesday statement, the company said it was continuing to prepare for a range of contingencies. Thursday, Yellow said it was for talks with multiple parties about selling its third party logistics organization. Even if Yellow is able to sell its logistics firm, it will not generate a significant amount of cash to keep them operational on any sort of a permanent basis, Chan said. Without a major equity injection, it would be very difficult for them to survive. See here, how much debt does Yellow have? As of late March, Yellow has an outstanding debt about $1.5 billion. Of that, $729.2 million was owed to the federal government. I mean, that's almost half of their debt is to the government. Of course, in under 2020, under the Trump administration, the Treasury Department granted the company $7 million in pandemic era loans on the national security grounds. Last month, a congressional probe concluded that the Treasury and the Defense Departments made a misstep in that decision and noted that Yellow's precarious financial position at the time of the loan and continued struggles exposed taxpayers to significant risk of loss. Let's see here. I guess the government could step in and make sure that their bills are paid. They keep them in business until the loan is paid off. Go under restructuring, too big to fail model that the two of the three American car companies went through. I mean, that's definitely an option. I mean, what's another 750 million dollars to make sure that 1.5 billion dollars is met? The government owns it. They gotta pay it back, or the government owns it. Let's see here. The government loan due is September 2024. As of March, Yellow has paid $54.8 million in interest payments and repaid just $230 million of the principal owed, according to government documents. I mean, that's a good chunk of change. Yellow current finances and prospects of bankruptcy is probably 2 decades in the making, Chan said, pointing to poor management and strategic decisions dating back to the early 2000s. At this point, after each party has bailed them out so many times, there's a limited appetite to do that anymore. I can understand why. In May, Yellow reported a loss of $54.6 million, a decline of $1.06 per share for its first quarter in 2023. Operation revenue was about $1.16 billion in that period. Wednesday, investors noted financial service firm Steven estimated that the Yellow could be burning between $9 million to $10 million each day. Using a liquidity disclosure from earlier this month, Yellow has roughly $100 million cash at the end of June. The note added it estimated that the company has been burning through increased amounts of money through July. It's reasonable to believe that the company could breach its $35 million liquidity requirement at any moment. Stevens analyst Jack Atkins and associate Grant Smith wrote. Let's see here. Did the company just avert a strike? Well, not really. They're about to have a permanent strike going on. Last week, reports of bankruptcy preparation arrived just days after the strike from Teamsters represents Yellow's 22,000 unionized workers was averted. A series of heat exchange has been built between the Teamsters and Yellow, who sued the union in June, after alleging a unjustified blocking restructuring plan needed for the company's survival. If that is to be true, that means unions broke this company. If that statement is true. I know it's just an opinion and a claim. The Teamster called the litigation baseless, with O'Brien pointing out Yellow's decades of gross mismanagement, which included exhausting the $700 million federal loan. I mean, it could be both. It could be mismanagement and it could be the union. On July 23rd, a pension fund agreed to extend health benefits for workers to Yellow Corp operation companies averting a strike, giving Yellow 30 days to pay its bills. Notably, 50 million the Yellow failed to pay the Central States Health and Welfare Fund on July 15th. The union said, while the strike didn't occur, talks of a walkout may have caused some Yellow customers to pull back. Chain said the financial struggle for Yellow is not related to the unions and contracts. Jindal said, pointing to management's responsibility around the services and price. He added union wages for the Yellow are lower than any competitor. I mean, that's interesting. Let's see here. What would happen if Yellow went under? As Yellow customers take their shipments to other carriers like FedEx or ABF Freight, prices will go up. Yellow prices have historically been the cheapest compared to other carriers. Jindal says that's why they're obviously not making money, he added. And while there's capacity with other LTL carriers to handle the diversions from Yellow, it'll come at a high price for the current shippers and customers of Yellow. Chan added that we're in an interesting time for the LTR, I guess that's long logistics. I don't know what LT marketplace is. Knowing that if Yellow liquidates, the freight would find a home with other carriers, which may not have been true in recent years. It may take time, but there's room for it to be absorbed. Pretty much another company is going to go and buy it, or it's going to become a property of the United States, and the property of the United States will be sold and divvied out between the other surviving companies. That's my prediction. But it is kind of interesting that this is probably going to get spicy. And if something's not resolved and this just goes into the ether, as just all these people are jobless, another company doesn't pick up the slack, we're going to have bottleneck issues. We're going to have logistics issues. And it very well may be that 10 people start their own trucking company, purchase the trailers from Yellow to meet the demands, and you have 10 new companies. It may not be as big as Yellow, but it's an opportunity, just something to throw out there. I really don't have an opinion one way or the other, because it does sound like it's mismanagement. They're not raising the prices the way they should have. And there may be some truth to the union bankrupting it. I don't know. That's just my opinion, just because I don't like unions. With that being said, that is my video for today, and have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.